In this video, we're going to be discussing Michael and Juliana's divorce. Yep, I said it, divorce. In less than 2 years of marriage, it's now confirmed that it's all over. But it seems there's a lot more to the story than meets the eye. Let me explain. As you may remember, Michael and Juliana got married in season 7, and their 19-year age gap, plus the fact Michael was still very close with his ex-wife Sarah, certainly raised some eyebrows. But since the show ended, Juliana has been sharing lots of hints that she wasn't happy. For example, there was a time she posted saying, quote, "Loving myself because if I wait for someone else to do it, I'll die waiting." Or how about the time she posted hinting she was unhappy with her life? Quote, "My life, wake up, clean, listen to bullshit, not be listened to, clean, eat." And the rumours really ramped up recently when Juliana posted this TikTok, which has since been deleted from her account, but in the video she says,
"I suffer enough, so just stop."
And then to add fuel to the fire, she also says,
"When you guys find out, you guys gonna hate me forever. Everybody's gonna hate me."
Now, as you can imagine, that sent 90 Day fans into a frenzy. What did she mean? Why was everyone going to hate her? What had she done? Don't forget, there's always been question marks about Juliana's motives. We learned pretty early on that Michael was a rich, successful businessman, something I'll come back to in a second. But yeah, lots of people have for a very long time suspected Juliana of just being a gold digger.
So why you give me a credit card?
I thought I could trust you. I learned.
And then there were some more developments. Juliana deleted all photos of Michael from her Instagram. She's also not currently in the States, although the official line is that's because she's modelling in Europe. But when asked about her relationship status on TikTok, she replied saying, quote, "Perfect family, laughing face." Ouch. And it got worse. In another TikTok video, she's captioned the video #Cupid, and in the video itself, she's seen running, presumably from Cupid, and again, in some of her comments in the video when asked by fans if she's still together with Michael, she's just replied, quote, "Run." Now, up until this point, Michael had stayed relatively quiet about the whole thing. When quizzed by some of his fans, his responses were cryptic and evasive. For example, in one comment on IG, he replied by saying, quote, "I'll answer questions I want to, ignore those I don't, or more likely offer vague and possibly misleading answers in order to continue the intrigue." Which is strange because on October the 12th, on what would have been his second wedding anniversary of Juliana, he finally decided to address the rumours. And sadly, it's now been confirmed that their relationship is over. And boy oh boy is there a lot to unpack from his statement. It raises a lot of questions, and although on the face of it, it seems quite respectful and almost civil, if you scratch the surface a bit, it seems like there's quite a lot of digs at her as well. So let me read what he posted. Quote, "Happy anniversary, Juliana. Today is only our second wedding anniversary and sadly our last. Our marriage is a COVID-19 casualty that will not be showing up in any statistics. Thankfully, you are quickly emerging healthier and stronger than ever. Some of the rest of us will likely be staying in intensive care for quite some time. You possess a natural and an incredibly beautiful joy, happiness and positivity. Those of us who truly know you realise that the beauty inside of you is even more incredible than your beauty on the outside. I understand how our situation throughout the pandemic could slowly and eventually completely drain you of these qualities. All of us were completely drained by the end of it, and I did not maintain the strength of mind and the fortitude to be the husband that you wanted me to be. The stress and the pressure of providing for everyone got the better of me, and I did not take care of myself. All along, I failed to recognise that you were there for me. I do not blame you for wanting to leave and for desiring a new start. You are more suited for the life that you had before we met, and I can understand why you would want to return. Your happiness is more important to me than me being a part of your unhappiness. My love for you remains true, and I will always be there for you. I am happy that you have moved on and have quickly found someone new. I hope that you will have lasting love and happiness and achieve every dream that you set out upon. If anyone can do it, it is you, and I will always be rooting for you. I will remain with you in the wonderful memories that we shared together. My heart is broken. With love, Michael. Yeah, there's a lot to unpick from all of that. I can't help but feel if you scratch the surface, although he seems to be taking responsibility, he is quite bitter about it. As I say, there's a lot of hidden digs at Juliana in there. Let's get to the real juicy bits. I think it's interesting he's calling his marriage a, quote, COVID-19 casualty, because we know that during the pandemic, Michael's ex-wife Sarah and her husband Sean moved in to live with Michael and Juliana. And while the whole family put on a brave face about it, and they put out TikTok videos at the time, seemingly portraying themselves as some kind of happy blended family, I guess the truth is the whole thing couldn't have been easy, especially so early into their marriage. They'd only been married like a year at that point, all shacked up under one roof together. I don't know, I mean, would you be able to live under the same roof with your husband's ex? Most people wouldn't. And then there's the added complication of COVID, which is we know that Michael's businesses appear to have experienced financial difficulties during the time. Let me explain. On the show, we learnt that Michael was a successful wine entrepreneur with a number of businesses. But it's recently come to light that Michael might be having financial problems. In fact, there's credible reports that his house is actually in the process of being repossessed after he allegedly stopped paying his mortgage back in April 2020. As you might recall, this was actually the same house that they bought on the show, and they actually got married in the back garden. We know for sure that there's definitely court documents showing that Michael filed for a foreclosure mediation request, meaning that although his mortgage lender wants to kick him out of his $1.2 million house, he's hoping that he can come to some kind of agreement with them with the help of a mediator. And that mediation hearing has been scheduled for November the 4th, 2021. And so with that in mind, what he says next is very, very interesting. He says, quote, "Thankfully, you are quickly emerging healthier and stronger than ever. Some of the rest of us will likely be staying in intensive care for quite some time." Now, that's quite the analogy. He's basically saying, you've quickly moved on. That's a word he repeats later again in the statement, quickly. And he's also saying, you're healthy and better than ever, but you've left me fighting for my life in intensive care. Now, that is a jab. I don't care how you dress that up. That's him kind of taking a dig at her. And then the next thing that I think is really interesting, he says, "I did not maintain the strength of mind and the fortitude to be the husband that you wanted me to be. The stress and the pressure of providing for everyone got the better of me, and I did not take care of myself." It's really interesting the way he uses language. Like, he doesn't say what he did wrong, but terms like strength of mind, fortitude, the stress and pressure got to me. I think he's dropping hints that he had some kind of breakdown of some kind. You know, maybe he was depressed, maybe he was angry. When he says, "I did not take care of myself, all along I failed to recognise that you were there for me," that's clearly him putting his hands up and admitting he neglected Juliana, he neglected their marriage. He didn't appreciate her, he didn't maybe pay attention to her, which kind of also links back to the fact that all throughout lockdown, Juliana was posting more videos with Sarah's husband than she was with her own. Maybe the stress of his business failing, Michael maybe went into his own shell, perhaps he didn't appreciate his wife, which leads on to the next part, quote, "I do not blame you for wanting to leave and for desiring a new start." Okay, so there he's basically saying she's the one who ended it. She was the one who wanted a new start. But then another jab. "You are more suited for the life that you had before we met, and I can understand why you would want to return." So that's basically him saying, you're not suited to being my wife and all that that entails, the kids, the ex-wife, the financial stress. You're better suited to being a stress-free model. So he's saying, you're not cut out for being a stepmom to my kids. You're not cut out for being my wife. And then here comes probably the biggest bombshell of the lot. "I am happy that you have moved on and have quickly found someone new." So by that, we can take that Juliana is in a new relationship, and she's kept that well hidden. That, to be honest, is likely to be what she meant when she said in her TikTok that everyone would hate her. But I can't help but think Michael's throwing some shade at her here. Listen, it can't be easy for him seeing his ex with someone new, but if they're still as friendly as he's trying to make out, he's sending her, posts saying happy anniversary, I don't think it's for him to announce to the world that she's in a new relationship. She should be the one to do that on her own terms. And I think that word again, quickly, makes it sound like he's a bit bitter. It's one thing for her to move on, it's another thing that he's emphasising she's quickly moved on. And that's the second time he uses that word. It definitely seems like a sticking point for Michael. It's hard for him to take. And it's a shame. I know there were loads of people who didn't like Juliana, and loads of people thought she was a gold digger just out for that green card. And yeah, perhaps they're right, given she's now left him when he's having financial difficulties. But I've got to admit, I did have a soft spot for these two. I'm sad that they didn't last. Of course, don't forget, they didn't sign a prenup, so it will be interesting to see what happens with that. Even though Michael might be facing financial difficulties, he did, at least on the show, he did seem to have quite a lot of assets, so she might be entitled to some of those. Either way, I got the impression Michael and Juliana didn't really enjoy being in the limelight. And look, yeah, I totally get it. Juliana is a model, that's a public job, but I don't necessarily feel like she's handled the pressure well. Just look at all the TikTok videos she posts crying or stressing over modelling. She's often telling people to leave her alone.
Also, I don't have to give details about anything, and then a lot of people is asking me. I don't have to.
And it's the same for Michael. I don't get the impression he's comfortable being in the public eye. He doesn't seem to like it. For example, here's a time where he went on a rant on a live Instagram video because a member of the public reported Juliana to the Connecticut Department of Health for supposedly breaking COVID travel protocols.
Of course, we're public figures, and I guess the downside of being a public figure is people who are just outright nasty for no reason. So anybody out there that thinks this is cute, fun, or interesting thing to do to bring people down that you don't like for whatever reason, go yourself.
I think his reaction in that video tells us a lot, and that's why with all that's going on in his life at the moment, I wouldn't be too surprised if Michael in particular goes off the radar and becomes even more private. Juliana, with her modelling, well, that might be slightly different. Judging by her Instagram purge and getting rid of everything but her modelling photos, I get the impression she's gearing up to share less about her private life, but maybe keep things strictly business, strictly modelling on her Instagram at least. What do you think? Are you sad that these two broke up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already watched my previous video of Juliana and Michael from a few months ago, I definitely recommend watching that. In that video, Juliana shares a crazy story about being kidnapped and forced to work as a child slave. She certainly has lived a crazy life. Check out that video, I think you'll enjoy it. I'll leave that for your watch next. Thank you for watching, catch you on the next video.